stories that we believe are worthy of further analysis. We bring it on, and then we have Fouad speak about it very briefly, and then you get the opportunity to converse with us on these stories. Now, what we've done to accommodate as many contributions as possible is make ourselves available via the phone line for 0913-6000-410. The number again, 0913-6000-410. You can have that saved. You can also reach us via WhatsApp, so you can send a message to our WhatsApp number, or if you use a phone that doesn't necessarily use WhatsApp, you can send a direct text message. The number is the same, 0913-6000-430, and by the same I mean the WhatsApp number and the number for text messages are the same. It's 0913-6000-430. Now we're streaming live as well on Facebook and on YouTube. You can use the live chat option on those platforms to also send in your contribution. So that's about 3-4 methods through which you can communicate with us here on radio. Let's talk about the two stories that we have selected for further discourse. Today, the Guardian newspaper, also the Punch, had highlighted major stories, one of which happens to be the fact that there's been a lot of agitation that is trailing the poor execution of the new minimum wage. This is a story that the entire nation followed. We saw the effort of the labor union. There were threats of national shutdown, and there were many negotiations, and ultimately a negotiation that started around something like 500,000 was brought down to 250 and negotiated finally to about 70,000 naira. July 2023 was the day that the new minimum wage was signed into law, but unfortunately right now even the 70,000 naira has lost at least 1/3 of its value, with skyrocketing food prices and also the rising inflation figures, with food inflation pushing 40%, the headline inflation something around 36% thereabouts. So this is a problem, and they're saying that even in all of that, at least the 70,000 that you have promised, implement it. So the conversation that we're having today is the commitment of the governors to paying this minimum wage. What do you think about their commitment to paying this minimum wage? Can they afford it? Because many states have said, we do not have the resources to keep up this minimum wage. We can't afford it. Whereas there are some states, for example, like Edo State, that is even willing to pay more, at least 75,000. A state like Lagos State that are willing to pay more, at least 75 to 80,000 naira. But some are saying, we don't have the resources. We cannot keep up with 70,000 naira. Is that the problem? The inability to pay the money, or the refusal to pay the money even if they can, and their commitment to paying this minimum wage. Also, Festus Osifo of the TUC made a suggestion. He says instead of the 5-year minimum wage review, a system that we currently operate on, why don't we do something of like an annual inflation-based minimum wage deliberation, where every year we look at what the inflation figures are, and then we use that statistics, we use that metrics in increasing the wage. That is the template on which we should increase the wage of the average Nigerian worker. So what do you think of this suggestion? Is it possible? First of all, the feasibility of this suggestion, can we actually achieve that? That's what we're more concerned about. Can we afford it as well? And finally, how can we ensure compliance to the laws on the part of governors when there is a law has been passed? For some reason, those who are supposed to be the executors of these laws find it difficult to execute the law. So should there be punitive measures in place for individuals who fail to implement laws that have been passed? Now, secondly, we're talking a little bit of politics with the Labour Party and their chutzpah, their brazenness, I dare say, that they can win the 2027 election without any merger. They do not need anybody to help them. They can win the 2027 election. So we're asking you this morning, does the Labour Party have the sagacity to win the 2027 election without a merger? Is the only way to defeat the ruling All Progressives Congress via a merger? Also, what effect would the current infighting within the opposition parties have on the ability to actually stand toe-to-toe with the APC? The PDP in that report actually responded. They said that the only way to win the election in 2027 against the APC would be to merge, and that merger would be incomplete without the PDP, seeing as they have more governors, they have more people in power, and they've been, standing toe-to-toe with the APC before, as opposed to the Labour Party. So the PDP thinks the only way to win the APC is via a merger that must involve them. But the Labour Party, on the other hand, says we don't need anybody to win the election. We have the capacity to do so. So the question, once again, is the only way to defeat the ruling party via a merger. Does the Labour Party have the power, have the political sagacity to actually stand toe-to-toe with the APC come 2027, and also with the current infighting within the political party and the power tussle within the party, do you think that they would be organized enough to actually conduct themselves come 2027? Those are the stories that we have for you today. As I said, Fuad will speak to us very briefly, and then we start to take your contributions. Fuad, good morning again. Thank you very much for being on standby. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. I'll make it very fast. Again, for the minimum wage conversation, it's really very unfortunate that we are still talking about the implementation of the minimum wage almost 6-7 months after it was passed into law. It took how many months for us to even get to the point where the government and labor unions agreed to this 70,000 naira minimum wage. And so for us to now get to the point where after 6 months, almost 7 months down the line, there are states that are still not implementing the wage, the minimum wage. It's very, very unfortunate. And like I told you earlier in the morning, if there's a state in Nigeria that has, been run to the point where it cannot afford to pay the 70,000 minimum wage, what it means is that the state does not even qualify to exist in the first place. Talk less of getting, to elect somebody as the governor of the state. If there's a state in Nigeria, we can excuse the shenanigans of the 30,000 minimum wage that was not implemented by most of these governors. But if there's still a state in Nigeria now, despite all the subsidy removal, floating of the naira, releasing of funds to more states, if we still have a state in Nigeria that the governor is saying they cannot pay the 70,000 minimum wage, then the state does not qualify to exist. And if the state does not qualify to exist, whoever is governing the state as a governor is just an acquiring seat of the governor who does not also qualify to be a governor. And so it's again left for the labor union to be able to deal with these people in their negotiations and force them to do the right thing. A lot of these states who are saying they are not able to pay have invested the state money into all manner of nonsense. White elephant projects, they borrowed monies, their predecessors messed up the state. Some of them are not doing anything different from what their predecessors have done. And then for Mr. Osifo, who is talking about an annual review of the minimum wage based on inflationary trend. Look, if you have a 5-year negotiation plan that has to take almost a year of fighting and back and forth, I don't know how that works. It would have been a reasonable thing to do, really. Maybe it would not even position the mind of the government to ensure that the right things are done to tame inflation in the country. Because they know the labor unions will be at the negotiation table to discuss the minimum wage based on inflationary trends. But I think that may not happen for now. Let us even solve the problem of getting the state viable enough to pay the minimum wage. And then on the issue of the Labour Party, it's just one word for me. That's a clear case of self-defeat. A classic case of political, self-delusional. They're just politically delusional. They are the Labour Party by itself on its own, without any merger, win the APC in 2027. How? Where is that going to come from? It's only based on the reality of the Labour Party at this time. A party that we already know is becoming a shadow of itself. For whatever the Labour Party achieved in the last general elections, it was just based on the obedient movement, the obedient way. Basically, the Labour Party, in my own estimation, is not different from the Boot Party or any of those relevant parties. And they're actually working to the point they're actually already digging their own political grave, the way they are already conducting the affairs of the party. I'm sorry, I have no regret saying it. And if you look at it, even if you look at the posture, the current body language of Peter Obi now, you are not even sure that he's a member of the Labour Party. And especially the governor, who is the only governor of the Labour Party, is not in complete control of whatever is happening to the Labour Party in the state. Julius Abure and his team are hell-bent on killing that party, or privilegiously killing it irrelevant. 38 members to the National Assembly left in 17, and the same party is telling you that he has the capacity to defeat the APC in 2027 without any merger. That's a complete case of tomfoolery. God bless Nigeria.
Fᴏ, thank you so very much. We appreciate you for your time. Well, it's time for us to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have fresh perspective on the matter? We look forward to hearing from you. We're talking politics. We're also talking the ability of government to cater to their people. The minimum wage conversation, months after governors have been unable to pay the minimum wage. And now the labor unions are once again calling on the government to see to the speedy implementation of that law, seeing as even the 70,000 barely has any value in January of 2025. And also the Labour Party and their confidence. Can they by themselves stand against the APC come 2027? And if there must be a merger, must it involve the PDP? And is a merger the only way to defeat the ruling All Progressives Congress? 0913600410. Please, you have 2 minutes for your conversation. So as much as we start to prompt you, please start to round off your thoughts so we can take as many calls as possible. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Your name, please.
Yes, good morning, Sage Babayola. My name is Shola.
All right.
And I'm calling from Egeda.
Nice to have you. Go ahead, please.
Yes, the first focal point, the state governors or the state government talking about their inability, to pay the minimum wage. Well, I would say this is a reflection of the laziness of our governors. It's a reflection of where their priority lies. Their priority is not in the development of their state and their people. Because how do you explain, even where states like, for example, states in the east, let's put aside the insecurity. You know the strength of your people. These people, I'm just using for example, they are technologically gifted. How many empowerment programs do they put together to enhance or to better the lives of their people? They cannot do that. So how can you imagine that these people will even be able to pay when they cannot, devise means of, providing for their people? So that shows that that's their priority. They lack that sense of priority towards developing their people. So it's left for the people. Then secondly, on the Labour Party, saying that they don't need a measure. That is just self-delusion. The truth of the matter is that in the current state of Nigeria that we are today, you understand, you cannot, it's not possible for you. It's only when constitution has been amended, you understand, where individual candidacy, can apply. That is where, because the vote of the people's choice, you understand, will never be adhered to. So you make merger with other people, other parties, where there can be a kind of power play, just like the APC did, ANC and other parties. So it's not possible. They are just themselves.
Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. Hello.
Hello, Sage.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, Professor Koboko. Happy New Year once more.
Happy New Year.
Sage, if you yourself can contest for Nigeria presidency without having a measure, we don't need to say a party. What we need is to refine and define Nigeria judiciary and INEC chairman. That is our problem. If National Assembly can help us, anybody can win election in Nigeria if it is fully and fair. Considering how people can do for the citizens, how much is 70,000 to pay for? And how much is 78,000 for how much is 70,000? But the Nigerian government is drives for influence in our institution. Since last year, they're supposed to be taking the money. Now, my advice, the Nigerian government should implement the 11 very beautiful and precious advice and stop this propaganda of Oloruka that is more sensible.
Thank you very much. Please, do you mind staying on the focus of the day? Don't derail the conversation so everyone doesn't jump on that bandwagon and start to shift away from the focus of the day. We're talking the Labour Party and their proclamation that they do not need a merger to defeat the APC in 2027. We're also talking about the minimum wage, the lack of implementation of the minimum wage. So please stay on course, all right? 091360000410. Please call. 2 minutes is what you have, and kindly try to stay on the focus of the day. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Okay, say Babayola, Peter Monse from Shogulu.
Nice to have you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Now, say, let me the line of Koboko. You see, this country, if we have free and fair elections, and the constitution has been amended to accommodate individual candidates, anybody can win election. I think Nigerians have been opened now with what we are going through now. We not even need parties. We need an individual who is committed to the building of Nigeria. We need somebody who loves this country. We need somebody who will give us the direction on how to go. Except if we want to continue going through this kind of oppressive situation we are finding ourselves. Look at what is happening. That the FCC has been in power for how long? Today, Nigerians are now paying 30,000 naira for electricity bill in 1 month. 33,000 in one room. You pay 10,000 for room, then you pay 33,000. And then I think we need somebody who will come and say, no, I must use the resources of the country to make sure that we just rejoice.
Mr. Peter, can I ask you something? Yes, I'll give you a time. If political parties, with all of their strength and their number, are having a difficult time defeating the ruling party, why do you think that a single individual, say for example, independent candidacy is put into the constitution and it actually happens? What makes you think that one person can do what an entire political party structure is unable to do?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. When we know the character of the person, and we know that the person is honest, that the person is prudent, the person wants to use the resources, we will not take our attention away from parties and focus on Joseph. When I say Joseph, the Joseph in Egypt, or we focus on David, the people that are elected to have the interest of the people at heart. So, for me, I think the campaign of next time will be remove your attention from parties. You see this Labour Party, they think because of the obedient movement that team up with Obi because Obi was in Labour Party, and they think Labour Party we can win without anybody. No, the obedient movement was the cause of that talk at that time. So if the obedient movement, so if it is with Obi or Ʌᴏᴜ or whoever, and then they say, look, this single person is who we want. We don't base it on party this time around. We base it on individuals. That's what I'm saying. The focus of the campaign will change this time around. Nigerians, have you suffered enough? Nigerians, can you buy? Can you travel? So at that point, an individual can win. Let me leave the minimum wage for the governors. They are wicked. Thank you.
Good morning to you. Welcome to radio. Your name, please.
Good morning, Faith. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Your name?
My name is Emma from Akoka.
All right.
Okay, so trust me, 2023 proved that anybody can be the APC. But when three things that need to do, the trifecta of, I call them the trifecta of evil. The Nigerian law enforcement, judiciary, and the electoral body. Not APC. You ask me. These are the things. APC, we Lagos, we saw the results. Let's not start conducting. So anybody can be the APC. What you need to do is law enforcement, judiciary, and the electoral body. You understand? When somebody talks about a party, like someone said, Labour Party should not become arrogant. Nobody cares about Labour Party. They don't care. You understand? Nobody cares about Labour Party. Thinking that because the office will be, nobody cares about that. Independent candidates, they have the last call I said different candidates. Nobody cares. But because the country Nigerian Constitution can amend in 1999, you need a party structure to run for office. That's why he's mentioning independent candidates. You understand? So you know that the Labour Party are talking them with the measure, nothing. Because you know the plan. The plan is to sell out. Everybody's cashing out. Oh, I want to join the secure party. You understand? Because nobody wants to water. Everybody's collecting G and keeping quiet. So for me, I don't think it's not a big deal. It happens. So the margins. However, let's not go into that. It's very big deal. You need to INEC, you see the Nigerian law enforcement and the justice system that we need. That's all.
Thank you very much. You have a better day. Hello. Hello. All right. Call back if that's you. Hello. Good morning.
Morning to you, Babalala.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
That's my dear. My name is Prince Wise, calling you from Lagos Island. You see, any governor that fails to pay 70,000, and that governor should be wicked somebody. If you don't want somebody to steal your money, you don't want corruption, and you must feed your world, you must feed your children. When somebody is working for you, you want to pay that money. I want to appeal to them to change their mind as if you need be.
for the Labour Party, for me, in this country today, we do have two dominant parties. Number one, APC. Number two, PDP. And for Labour Party, what that is partner.
Prince Wise, do you mind moving to a better place? Your connection is really bad. Okay, I think you might need to call us back. My apologies. Hello. And also please turn down the volume on your radio.
Hello, good morning, Mela.
Yes, good morning to you, sir. Your name, please.
My name is Bolaji from Ijoko.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, thank you.
Oh, yes, on the obese movement. You see, I believe that a party can win any election in Nigeria if that man has already spoken. He said tripartite something. The judiciary, the electoral body, and the politician. They are the one that is throwing a clog in the wheel of our country. Because when we have a good electoral reform, a good electoral law, and it's not being enforced, what do you say about it? Look at Lagos State. Lagos State was won not because Igbos or Yoruba or Hausa are much in Lagos. Are you telling me that those people who voted for Labour Party in Lagos in 2023 election, they are all Igbos or they are all Hausa or they are all Yoruba? So they came together and voted for their choice. Period. And I have it. So do you see that the president went to the East? He was preaching for unity. Yes, it is possible, but not before, not after election. Before election, unity must be preached. So that Abiodun, please use Ijoko Road.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah. Concerning the issue of minimum wage, I think Senate President, what money cannot do, more money can do it. He told the whole world that it is not a crime for anybody not to implement when he said that Mr. President has approved 70,000 and put something on top of it. And he further said that it is a crime for anybody not to implement it. So if it is a crime, then I believe the refusal not to implement it should not be coming from public service, government establishment. So except we are just deceiving ourselves that we have a constitution that we are upholding or we are being observed in Nigeria. Concerning the possibility of Obi winning without it's possible in a safe society. It's very, very possible. It's a matter of people realizing that we don't have somebody that is capable of handling the affair of Nigeria at the end of our affairs. And people will move a mass and vote for a credible somebody. It's a matter of time. We have begin to realize that what we have now is there's autocratic tendency. So if it's not because of the issue of poverty and rigging and other evil crises, it is very, very possible because at present what we have now is COVID. People at the end of our care taking care of them, neglecting Nigerians. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for calling. Let's read some of the messages that we have on WhatsApp and then we'll do Facebook and it's back to the phones. On WhatsApp, Kayode from Ikotun says, good morning, Sage and Fuad. Labour leadership is currently in power tussle wahala. They should first settle their internal wahala before thinking about election in 2027. We also have here, good morning, Sage and Fuad. Any state governor that say they cannot pay the new minimum wage, they should resign. And the Labour Party should not repeat the same mistake that of the new minimum. Okay. They should not repeat the same mistake of 2023. I'm saying it with confidence that PDP and Labour Party can never defeat the APC without a merger. Oshodi Lawrence from Ajao Estate. Alright, Lawrence says that the PDP and Labour Party might not be able to defeat the APC without merger. Alright, we have another one here. Wild goose chase on the part of the Labour Party, thinking they can dislodge APC in 2027 without any merger. It is unthinkable and delusional for any person to make that statement. Let them first put their house in order and find a way to stop further cross-carpeting in their house. Elder Godwin Emimchukwu from Ogun State. I have another one here. Good morning, Sage. The opposition parties at the moment will not unseat the president in 2024, despite the hardship the Nigerians are groaning with. The fact remains that there are a lot of betrayal, anti-party syndrome, and selfish interest among the political class. Labour Party has no capacity to win subsequent election because they are not well coordinated. The boast is watery and empty, and a figment of their leadership. Let them forget about selfish interests. They should come together with one voice and merge with viable political parties. Secondly, let all the stakeholders demand for electoral reform that would give legal backing to INEC impute and make it an umpire in all variation. Another one here from Stevie Kelu. Good morning, Mainland Radio. I'm Stevie Kelu from Maryland. Sage, it's mere hallucination for the Labour Party to think they can win the 2027 election without a merger. Simply put, they lack the clout, sagacity, capacity, and economic ground to make any impact, not to talk of winning. There should be more defection of Labour Party members to the APC before that 2027. I'm afraid that the man currently at the helm of affairs in Nigeria today is a political master. Therefore, Labour Party and other parties should know, if one could grab it and run with it before becoming a president, what will happen now that such a fellow has all the powers as president? In short, there's no vacancy in Aso Rock 2027, period. All right, Stevie Kelu, thank you very much. We appreciate you for your insights. Let me do Facebook for a little bit before I come back to the phone, so we're able to hear anyone. So we have one here on Facebook. The PDP, John Bernard Ohi sent this one. The PDP is right without a merger. There's no party that can defeat the APC. Labour Party without Peter Obi is not different from Accord Party. As for the minimum wage issue, any state that cannot pay minimum wage has no right to exist. Alright, thank you, John Bernard. Atonde Kayode Samuel here, hold on, says victory in election is not a one-day approach. Victory in election does not have to be with one man, but man with men. Labour Party currently have issues with itself, and to produce a candidate in 2027 is still a problem. So the success is not yet in sight for the Labour Party. Another one here by The World. The World says, our major problem has to do with allocation of resources. When talking about payment of 70k minimum wage, there has been a precedent of our governors going hand in cap to the central to get their allocations without working, and they do not generate their own resources. Hold on a second, let me get this. Majority of the states that can't pay the 70k wage have loss of mineral resources, which can be used to up their IGL, and it can even be bigger than Lagos. But no, they want to collect money from the center. Secondly, the Labour Party, feeling very bold to win the next election, is like a buffalo, although big, is thinking it can dislodge an elephant after listening to an inspirational message. The Obi movement is the only reason that the Labour Party is relevant today. All right, thank you very much. For those of you just joining us, this is Mainland Focus on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. We have two stories that are being tabled today. We're focusing on the governors and their inability to implement the minimum wage. There are questions around the commitment of the governors to pay the minimum wage, and we're asking questions like, can they afford it? What do you think about their inability to actually implement this months after? Festus Osifo of the TUC also made a suggestion and said that instead of the 5-year review of minimum wage according to the law, why don't we consider something of an inflation-based deliberation for minimum wage? If the inflation goes up, then we have to increase the minimum wage. If there's a reduction in inflation, we can keep it as it is. So also, how can we ensure compliance of these governors when it comes to matters like the implementation of a new minimum wage, if months after they've been unable to do it? What exactly does that say? When we have further deliberation on minimum wage, will they be able to keep up? And then we also look at the story that was reported on the front page of the Punch newspaper. The Labour Party and their confidence that they can single-handedly stand toe-to-toe with the ruling party and actually win come 2027. And so we're asking the question, the Labour Party, do they have the sagacity to win the 2027 election without a merger? Because there had been many rumors a few months ago that the Labour Party might merge with other parties, the PDP amongst others, so that they can stand together against the APC. But then Labour Party is saying it's not necessary, we can definitely do it. The PDP, for example, is saying the only way to take down the APC is to merge, and that merger has to involve the PDP because they are the only ones, or they're the strongest opposition that we have at the moment. Is that true? Also, what effect will the current infighting within the opposition party have on the ability to actually stand toe to toe with the APC? The Labour Party, they have their own leadership tussle. The PDP, I don't even have to start telling you that story. But the major opposition parties we have in the country are currently having problems with themselves. They're taking each other to court. Isn't that going to be distracting for them? How can parties that are currently going through tussle within themselves really come together to collaborate come 2027? These are the two stories that we've put on the table for further discuss. If you'd like to call 0913-6000-410, text message WhatsApp 0913-6000-430, and we're also streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Hello, good morning, tell me your name.
Good morning to you, Sage. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Engineer.
Your connection is very bad though, but I'm fine, thank you.
Going by the minimum wage, no governor, no state that is not capable to pay the minimum wage. All of them are capable. Only some of them are so they spend wastefully. They cannot even push that narrative that they are not capable. They are getting allocation. They have internally generated revenue that they can use, unless they are not even. If they say there is resource, there are resources over there. If they are not, if they say that they don't capable, they are not capable. Is the person, the government that is not capable and is not fit to be in that seat. It's not fit to be on that seat. If they say it's not capable, there are resources all over the state, and the allocations also indicate that they are able to pay that money, and that's about that. Then coming to the issue of Labour Party, they should forget being transcendent. Anyway, they have to be shouting that they exist. That is just it, because Labour Party, they will people will be to come and be their flag bearer. The Labour Party was one of those all these small parties, registered parties. But what they should do, and I know that what is going on is there will be a merger, and we should learn how to do politics where you come together in order to salvage Nigeria from the hands of those that are oppressing us. There should be a holistic cooperation from all the strata of the state corner. They should come together.
Thank you.
Everybody should come together. Don't say I must be president, I must be. Let's come together and salvage this country.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, this is much better. Go ahead.
You see, all those parties, I regard each team as only party that challenging,
And now we can't hear you again. Prince Wise, it's really bad. I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Madam.
Yes, good morning, sir.
How are we doing this morning, ma'am?
Fine, thank you.
My greeting goes to that one.
I'm sure he's listening. Go ahead, please.
Yes, ma'am. Forming alliance.
Tell us your name, sir.
Okay, my name is Baba from Magodo.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Forming alliance is not a problem. But the problem we are having with these our politicians, they are very busy and self-centered. That's why. Therefore, our alliance cannot work. The only thing that came for APC during 2016 is because that time they unite and they make sure they achieve their needs. And the personality of the person that is having the affairs of people to that thing.
but now things are still. So when they form a line of order like no work, that's problem. And salary implementation. Any government that is still saying that they cannot implement it, because it's very expensive and they have to decide. That person is not able to be in that seat. The way it is now, everybody has the economy of the country.
Can you talk into your speaker? You sound far away. If you're using headphones, remove it.
Ma?
Alright, just round off your thoughts.
Okay, bye-bye.
Alright then, please when you call, if you're using hands-free, I would actually advise that you disconnect from that device, because it sometimes creates this hello or holo sound, makes it difficult to hear you. So disconnect from whatever external device you're using so we can actually hear you. Speak directly into your phone. 091360000410. Talk to me. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Confirm. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Please, Madam Ify.
Yes. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm well.
All
I'm
right.
very well. I'm okay.
Go ahead.
Prince Wire is my friend. Go and buy new phone. I know we are veteran in this talk every morning. Your phone is buy new phone. You'll find out that your speech will be clearer. I want to talk about this Labour Party and Obi. I would advise Obi to go back to where he's coming from. He should go back to PDP. You could imagine if Obi was in PDP with all these, how many millions did he make and made it with what Atiku made? There's no way this APC will come to power. He should return back to base and let them sort out themselves and become a formidable force against 2027. But if they say they want to do it solo, I bet you nobody can unseat that this APC come 2027. But they should try because he depleted the vote of PDP in 2023. The Eastern region normally they vote for PDP because of Obi and obedience. The next thing they followed him to rudderless wilderness. As far as I'm concerned, as a minimum wage, I was an advocate of not this increment. I don't know want increment in salary. If people can remember, I said because if you increase salary, it will be my land. Sage, I hope your landlord or landlady has not increased your rent.
It did not increase it by 100,000.
Now it's million. No. It's million. Like me, I'm looking for another apartment because of what the procedure that I did. I live on 2-story building. I can't be climbing those stairs again. So I'm looking. Come and see what they are telling me. And everything goes down to all this minimum wage. They give you 70,000. Now you are paying rent of a room self-contained 500,000, 2 bedroom, 1.something million. What kind of this thing is that? I was saying that let us man pressure on our government to build houses, no cost houses for people.
Thank you, Madam Ify.
And look at it today.
Thank you.
They cannot minimum wage they can't pay or cannot rent house.
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling. I'll take 2 more phone calls so I can read all the messages that are coming in at this time. 09136000 and on YouTube. Alice, hello.
They collected that minimum difficult. They follow to the what happened.
Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you very much. This year to election. Later to compete and that election was declared
Problem now. We often like to zoom past our problems without consideration for whatever bumps may be on the road. Nearly every aspect of the process of deciding on the minimum wage went against realistic projections, but we all wanted to put it behind us so quickly and move on. The Labour Party at Digu from Iyanokpaja. Alright, thank you very much. Tinubu and his party are not prepared for such truthfulness, will not leave the seats that easily. If they like all the parties joined together, President Tinubu will not go anywhere unless we are ready. But for now, just forget it. Alright, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Please tell us your name when you send messages so we can attribute your messages to somebody. We have another one here. Good morning, Mainland FM. It's unfortunate and highly ridiculous that some state governors are finding it difficult. Workers is that they cannot. I wonder who mayor can tell above all the people and pay it, but they're choosing not. The party is the fault of coalition. Funny how internal round then came to Lagos because APC will choose influence that here. Christopher F. Young who almost they should leave the seat for those who day 300 sits this current taking confinement of anyways minimum wage. It's assembly. This. Thank you very much. I'm well. Thank you. Good morning.
On this issue, we were political.
Good morning.
That are not